New safety precautions have been implemented at both North and East this year. We take a look at how those measures are working and how they can affect you.
I see us making that change definitely this school year, but we're always looking at best practices and what's best for students and staff here at East.
We will examine the importance of education through the eyes of teachers at Crothersville schools.
The piece of advice I would give would be to not limit yourself, don't set any restrictions.
Seymour boys basketball is having a historic season. What's next as they prepare for sectionals?
That's a pretty early success, and we hope to keep that going.
All of that and more on Torch TV.
Welcome to this edition of Torch TV. I'm your host, Caleb Murphy, and joining me today is Colin Wolfe. Colin, how are you?
Good.
Did you get your schedule turned in?
Yes, I did, but I'm wanting to make a few changes.
All right, make sure to go see your counselor about that. Speaking of schedule changes, all students should have turned in their form for next year's classes. If you change your mind about the classes you signed up for, you have until spring break to make any changes. Schedule a meeting with your counselor or email her today. Seniors, Jostens will be here on March 1st during both lunch mods for the cap and gown pickup. If you owe a balance, please pay before March 1st or bring the money when you pick up the cap and gown. If you still need to place an order, you can go to jostens.com and do that today. Juniors, the SAT will be on March 5th, about 2 weeks from now. Please ensure you bring a charger and a fully charged computer. A calculator of yours can also be brought, but one will be provided. For more information, check the Canvas SAT page.
Like most high schools, East is always changing with a new principal, lanyards, pickups and drop-offs, and also class courses. All new this year. East has also made a few safety changes.
The switch to the two doors at the beginning of the day, door 15 and door number 1, wasn't necessarily made because we didn't have like random people coming into the building, but we made the change to limit the number of doors that were open and to, again, create some consistency of where people should be flowing to before, especially that time before school when so many people are moving in. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's always changes that we can make to improve safety for students and staff. And you know, we have a building safety team that we're regularly reviewing kind of what's the best practices. I do think down the road we need to look at like the drop-offs, and students should really just be getting dropped off in the south student lot and the north teacher/student lot, and not being dropped off in the main lot because there's a lot of people who walk there, and so there's a lot of safety issues there as far as walking through the parking lots during dark times, and so using the appropriate drop-offs. But that's what we're trying to do with communication through Parent Square, Student Square, and just setting out where those appropriate spots are and then identifying the areas that maybe we need to have a little bit more enforcement.
The theater department has announced their spring plays Holes, a novel that most students read in elementary school. When Mr. Welsh heard that Holes was being made into a production, he considered it a no-brainer. Auditioning is no easy task, but it gives Mr. Welsh options on how the roles will be cast.
Recently, when I found out that the author of the book had actually adapted it to the stage, I was excited and thought this might make a really fun show for the kids to do. Pretty much the way we do most of our audition, I go through the play and choose a number of different scenes that highlight different characters that are in the show. Then when students are here, I'll say, okay, you play this character, you play this character, you play that character. They get up and read that scene until I see the kinds of things that I'm looking for each character, and go from there.
Auditions are being held this week. Positions as stagehands and on the tech team are also available. After the break, we traveled to Crothersville to examine the importance of education.
And we analyzed the use of both antibiotics and vaccines in livestock.
All that and more on Torch TV. The value of education is undeniable. Most have grown up being taught the importance of education. Some days, school may just seem like a waste of time or something to get through in order to just get a job. However, education is much more important than just getting a job or making your parents happy. In fact, education can change the course of a life.
Teachers nowadays think highly of the education systems set up for students because they find it very influential.
I think education is valuable just so that so many of our students that go back into the workforce have the capabilities of being able to, just coexist in the world?
Well, education is valuable because it allows people to be upwardly mobile if they so choose.
I think the value of education is that we start out as an empty slate, and think of yourself as being in a room with no windows, and when you acquire knowledge and education, it allows you to open your doors and your windows so you can see more of the outside and opportunities.
Everyone asks, what even is the purpose of school, at least once in their life? So why don't we find out ourselves?
To me, the purpose of education is to just be able to better yourself, be able to give back to the community that made you.
I believe the purpose of education is to just open your mind as to what's going on around you. So many of the jobs that are going to be created in the next 10 years don't even exist now.
I think the purpose of education is to prepare individuals for society as citizens and being a part of the workforce.
Advice is always nice when going through school. You want to make sure you are prepared and ready for whatever is thrown at you.
So a piece of advice I would give would be to not limit yourself. Don't set any restrictions. If something is hard, you work at it. If math is hard, then you work at getting better at math. If spelling is hard for you, you have to work at getting better at spelling. People don't just give you things. So it's a lot of this education is just you trying to pick up the pieces where you know where things are hard and work at it.
Students might not know what to expect all of the time, but being efficient as possible with schoolwork can prove to be beneficial.
Now we head to South Decatur's Kiley Best with this week's weather forecast.
Today we're anticipating mostly sunny skies with a high of 51 and a low of 26. We also see a 30% chance of rain. On Saturday we'll see sunny skies and low wind gusts along with a high of 49 and a low of 25. Lastly, on Sunday everything will be warming back up, resulting in a high of 56 and a low of 42. That's all we have for this week's weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
According to the National Chicken Council, Americans consume almost 100 million pounds of chicken wings just on Super Bowl Sunday. That's nearly 1.25 billion wings. Riley Crody joins us with insight on how producers keep that meat safe for you and your family.
According to the USDA, on average, each person in the U.S. eats 224 pounds of various meats each year. With this much meat going into the food supply, there are important measures farmers take to ensure the health of their livestock, antibiotics being one of the most beneficial.
If you or I get some sort of infection and we go to the doctor and they give us antibiotics, same thing for our livestock. It's oftentimes they can get things like pneumonia, they can get skin infections, especially when they're young, they can get joint infections. And so being able to treat those animals with antibiotics and get them better is critical. And then it also provides a safer end product to the producer.
Livestock producers very often run into problems when their animals become sick. To help the sickness, just like humans, animals receive antibiotics, but they have to be careful with how much they use.
We really have to look at the antibiotics per pound usage. Everyone likes to throw around this big number that it's like 60 or 70% of this country's antibiotics are used in livestock. In the veterinary field, we have been challenged a lot to use antibiotics judiciously, which is just a big word meaning to use them when necessary and to be responsible about using them, because we are getting a lot of pressure from folks who are trying to blame the animal health industry for antibiotic resistance.
Antibiotics can be a great option for curing a disease or infection, but there's a few things producers can do to avoid animals getting sick. Vaccinating them would help to fight against many problems to come in the future.
Utilizing things like vaccines really does make a difference too in decreasing the amount of antibiotics that we have to use. Animals that don't have a solid vaccine background are going to be the ones that are hit harder. And there is a lot of research being done on the vaccine side to produce more effective vaccines to try to cut down on antibiotic use.
The first animal vaccine was invented in 1879. Since then, vaccinations have helped prevent disease and deaths in millions of animals throughout the world.
After the break, we'll look at Edinburgh's improved basketball team.
And we will take you to Seymour, where their basketball team is having their best season in 19 years.
Seniors, your first mentor check is due this Friday, February 23rd. Make sure to get it turned in on time. Also for seniors, make sure to fill out your FAFSA to qualify for student aid. Help is available on Sunday, February 25th from 2 to 4 p.m. at IUPUC. College Goal Sunday is taking place, and you can help you and your parents fill out the FAFSA. Make sure to make an account at studentaid.com. This Friday, the Student Assembly organized a volleyball tournament. Teams consist of 3 to 8 players, and the registration fee is $20 each team. That will be paid at the bookstore. The event itself will start at 5:30 in the Ox Gym. Now over to Crothersville, Eric Walker with sports.
Edinburgh is a town of just over 4,000 people. It is a tight and close community, as with most small towns are in Indiana. There is a big emphasis placed on high school sports. First-year boys basketball coach Devin Burton understands the importance of his program to the community and is hoping to bring some of that joy to those fans that support the Lancers year after year.
With a town population of less than 4,500 people, the basketball teams have a lot of meaning to Edinburgh.
Growing up and being a part of a small town, basketball is super important.
I think that the basketball team means everything to the community.
I think the basketball team means more to the community than most communities.
With new head coach Devin Burton leading the group, the team has adapted new identities as a whole.
Just positive culture. We try to stay positive all the time.
I think to have a little bit of swag and confidence, I think that can take you a long way.
Sense of rejuvenation.
With the new positive culture and energy within the basketball program, there is always room for improvement.
In today's world, people want to be like the college players and the NBA players. I think I'd love to see us get back to just more discipline.
Toughness. Just our togetherness, and one thing we talk a lot about is mental toughness.
Although Edinburgh hasn't had the season they wanted, the bunch is looking to turn it up during sectional time as they play South Decatur on February 28th. Seymour is having their best basketball season in 19 years. Currently, the Seymour Owls are 17-4 and have clinched the first Hoosier Hills Conference Championship in school history. They are looking forward to the postseason where they are seeking their first sectional title since 1992.
Well, our kids are working really hard so far this season, and we've had some pretty early success, and we hope to keep that going. They're buying into game plans, and they're working hard at practice, and they're executing at a very high level right now. And so, we still got a lot of work to do as we get ready for March, but so far so good.
Been a great start to the year. It's something that our guys have really been playing hard. It covers up a lot of mistakes when you're playing hard.
I think we need to fine-tune some things on the offensive end of the basketball. Making free throws, making layups, and taking care of the basketball tend to win basketball games. So we got to continue to do all of those things well.
Continuing to be unselfish. We talk a lot about to our guys about making the extra pass and diving for the ball and rebounding the ball hard and doing those things that sometimes aren't the most flashy.
Most important thing is we got to stay together. This group has been extremely together all year long. They play for each other. They work really hard for each other. They continue to do that, and great things can happen from that.
Seymour plays the first game of sectional versus Jeffersonville on February 27th. Best of luck to one of East Media's very own senior Ethan Silcox and the rest of the Seymour Owls. Now with our East Olympian sports. Over the weekend, our gymnastics team closed out the season with a close meet, edging Seymour with a score of 96.7 to 93.2. On Monday, our O's basketball teams played at Madison, with varsity boys winning 66 to 60. Looking ahead in basketball, the O's have drawn the Crosstown Bulldogs to kick off sectionals on February 27th. Sectional this year are held at East Central, time is 6 p.m. This Saturday, our Olympian Spirit Band members are competing at state, solo, and ensemble at North Central High School. 16 students received a gold rating at the district competition last month and have advanced to state. Good luck to our Olympian Spirit. Also on Saturday, our show choirs compete at Franklin Central. Serenade competes at 9 a.m. and Center Stage performs at 2:30 p.m. Best of luck to our choirs. That's it for sports. Back to you guys.
That's all we have for today. From myself, Caleb, Kiley, and Eric, and the rest of the Torch TV crew, I'm Colin Wolfe. Thanks for watching. And remember to take care of yourself, others, and the place, and as always, try to be the best part of someone's day.